Zvcht Thorton. I'm here with Alienz only. Why am I not famous?
My wrist is bust down, it's bust down. Gotta get my Apple Watch bust down, it's bust down, yeah. Yo, bitch go through bust down, she bust down. I don't get too fussed now, no fuss now, no.
So let's get straight into it, man. Who are you, bro? What do you do?
Basically, I'm a clothing designer. I started out doing like custom clothing and shit like that, doing like sandals, denim jackets. Like this all started last year too. So like I'm just a clothing designer. I'd be doing like all sorts of business type of shit. I'm trying to have like multiple businesses, but my main thing right now is just clothing design. Right now I'm known for making, I would say the main thing is the masks. If you've never seen them, I've been doing masks for like Trippie Redd. It's designer. I was the first person to ever make a designer ski mask. And then I'm also working on starting a clothing line. It's already started, but I'm doing a clothing line called Very Lonely. So like I got like sweatpants, long sleeves, these beanies. This is all stuff that's coming out like next month. So I have Very Lonely, and then the designer ski mask is basically what people know me for right now. What made me think about it was really like, I was sitting there in my room, because I started out doing a bunch of other shit, and I was sitting there trying to think of something that I could do that nobody had ever seen before. So I was sitting there in my room and I was like, yo, I was doing all like handmade things. So I was like, yo, what can I make right now that nobody has ever seen? I was looking, I seen a ski mask, like the snowboarding ski mask you wear, like motorcycle ski mask, whatever, the ones that just has the eyes open. So I was looking at it, I was like, yo, I don't think anybody has ever made that shit. I'm gonna recreate one. So I made it, and this was at the time when I was only hand sewing too. So like I made like, I think like 3 or 4 of them, and I gave one to like Genius, Chapo, Hoodrich Slime, and that was like the first ones I made. Like, yo, if I get these, like, this is exactly what the music culture needs. Like, deadass. There's this band, they wear masks, Slipknot. Yeah, them shits, like, they be doing some crazy shit. And they just, like, normal people, but these masks, like, it makes them look legendary, like, iconic shit, you know? So, like, I was like, yo, I'm gonna get this shit into the music culture, because I know that shit's gonna blow up, and, like, everybody's gonna fuck with this, and I can do more than just music once it's in that already. First person was Genius, Cold Heart, Hoodrich Slime, Chapo, and then I moved to LA, and that was when I was like, I had no money. I was like, fuck, I need to do something right now. So I came up with the idea, I'm just gonna do these masks and shit, like see how they do. And luckily it worked out good, because I got like Trippie right as he blew up. After I had like 20 or 200,000 followers, something like that. So I just caught him like right before, and like I met Cold Heart just like at a skate park, and like I just got all these people. I managed to just get like a fucking dream team together, you feel me? So like that was like how it all just kind of like blew up like off the top.
Where you from, bro?
So I'm from San Luis Obispo. It's literally Central Coast, so it's the very middle of LA, and San Francisco is like the very middle of the two. So I'm like 3.5 hours from LA. I was born in San Luis Obispo, and then I grew up in Atascadero, which is the next city over. It goes like San Luis Obispo, Atascadero, Templeton, Paso Robles. And I've lived in every single one of those cities. And I went to like Atascadero High School until like junior year. I went to San Luis Obispo for like a month. Went back to like my Del Rio is like another school in Atascadero. I graduated from there and shit. So I basically just grew up in San Luis until like this year is when I started like actually moving out.
What is it like out there compared to LA?
Fucking shitty. So shitty. You think of a small ass town is like the regular small town. Like Atascadero is where I literally like my whole life I basically grew up. Like it's named after mud hole. If you look up Atascadero, it's literally mud hole is the name of that shit. Like it's trash. That's what it is. Like a fucking mud hole, literally.
When did you get into designing? Like, were you always into like creating as a child, or is it some shit you just stumbled upon?
I've been like, it's like a low key always been a passion of mine. Like I remember when I was probably like in like 3rd or 4th grade, I hit my mama, or I just talked to my mama. I was like, yo, how do I get like a clothing company to like make my designs? And she's like draw a design and send it to him. So I literally took a piece of paper, took a crayon, drew out the shape of a shirt, and just drew some like designs on it, just some dumb shit. Sent it to him, like, you know, I never heard anything, but like that was like the first time I ever thought about that shit. And then when I get into high school, that was when I started doing like just some random clothing lines. So I never did anything with them, but like I made like the brand, like the logos, all that type of shit. I just never like fully went with it. Like I've always done it. I've always wanted to do a clothing line until last year. It was 2017, 2016. I started a clothing line called Suspects Under Surveillance, Suspects Under Surveillance. And I did that for like a year, and it was really like low-key. I didn't really do too much with it. At some point, I started realizing like, yo, I could be doing like handmade stuff. So that was when I started doing the handmade stuff. And then I started doing a clothing line, I made the design when I moved down to LA. I lost my job and stuff. I moved to LA, and I was like, yo, I can start my career now. Like, my parents didn't want me to do all this stuff. Like, I had no like way to like make money. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna actually do this clothing. So I made a couple designs called Very Lonely. It was like the LV remake. Did those, sold those through No Jumper. Those did really well.
Saw No Jumper.
Yeah, and so those been popping. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just make this into a clothing line. So that's like what I'm focusing on now, like with the beanies, all this. So that's gonna be like my next thing. The summer of this year, everything started for me. Like literally 8 months ago, 6 months ago. Like all this shit just started happening. I lost my job last November, a year ago. I was working at UPS full time. They just fired me one day for no reason. So I had unemployment. So I was getting like $288 every like 2 weeks or whatever. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to LA. I moved in with a homie. It was a little bit before summer. I moved down to Lakewood, living off unemployment, like making some designs, like kind of giving them to people with Cold Heart, Trippy Red, people like that and shit. So once I was in LA, like, I started meeting all those people and shit, and then I got my clothing line going. When I was living down in Lakewood, like, I lost my unemployment, and that was like, I was like, oh shit. Damn. I texted my mom, and I was like, yo, I need like some money for food. I have nothing right now. So like, I hit her up, I got $40, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do these masks. I made that Very Lonely design that day. Literally just threw these colors on. I was like, holy shit, this design is fire as fuck. Put it out, started taking some photos. People hella liked it. That literally set me off, like, right there, because I was dead-ass broke 6 months ago, and now, like, I'm never going to work a job again after that. Anybody can really push to do whatever the fuck they want to do. If you want to do something, if you put the effort in, you will get that shit out. I knew, like, Trippy Red had the perfect image for it. I knew these masks were all going to take off. I'm going to merge Very Lonely and the mask together, and now I'm doing collabs and shit, so it's like I got, like, a No Jumper collab coming soon on masks, like, all type of shit.
We're going to talk about the relationships a little bit. Because the Trippy relationship definitely took your career to the next level. Would you agree with that?
His whole first interview said his age, all that shit. He's wearing the Gucci mask, handmade by me. Like, I hand make everything, so that's what's crazy to me. Like,
explain the process going behind making this. I mean, you don't got to give away the sauce.
I just found the plug. I just knew it was going to be something nobody has seen before. My plan was to make as many as possible, as quick as possible. Get it to like as many fucking people as possible and just get this shit booming, because like nobody had ever seen this before. I knew this was a wave I created. Like that, nobody made that ski mask that I made. Like nobody. People have made like the Jason mask and shit, but low-key me, I never even seen that before. Like, and it's at the point now where like Trippy was with X like the very first time, like he was wearing the mask and shit. Now I just see like X like doing shit with masks and stuff. It's like, damn, like that's like because of me.
Yeah, waves, bro. Setting trends. That shit crazy. So all right, so you went from working with Chapo, Genius, me and Genius Cools. Who now do you have?
I'm gonna start from the very beginning of people I've given to. Genius, Chapo, Hoodrich Slime, Trippy Red, Cold Heart, Omni Wigs, Nate, LaFlora. Like, there's so many people. It's hard for me.
Nah. Don't think about people that you fuck with.
No. I'm trying to think of people just off the top
people
of my head.
that really, like, when you seen them fucking with your mask, it threw you, bro.
Oh, like Adam 22, like, I sent him, he was on a live stream one day, and I had a box of, like, Very Lonely clothes and, like, 4 masks that I sent to him, and it was just chilling at his, like, or at the shop or whatever. And he was on a live stream. I paid $10. I was like, yo, go open up this package. Like, you're gonna hella like that shit, like 100%.
Hustler, bro.
Yeah.
I just respect the grind so much.
So I gave Adam the package, and he was on live stream. Basically opened it up. He just seen all that shit and was like wilding on it. I had Trippy and other people in it, but it was like Adam. Like, the reason I did all this was because of Adam 22. Like, I literally watched every single one of his podcasts. So that was what inspired me to even start my very first clothing line a year ago. I sent him that shit. He literally messaged me and was like, yo, let's get this shit in the store. Like, let's sell these masks, let's sell these hoodies, let's do all this shit. Like, so I just made a trip down, met him, and like, he hella fucked with the shit. He's been taking photos.
Shout out to Adam 22.
Yeah, Adam's the homie. Fuck.
Now this is one you don't want to miss. Anybody else like that really, like, you feel that
Big shout out to Genius, very first person to ever fuck with me. He like has the most respect out of everyone, like in my eyes. I was nobody a year ago and I gave him my handmade mask. Like he still has that shit. I was doing everything handmade and I just started using the sewing machine like on some like somewhat professional type looking shit. So like the fact that he fucked with me from the beginning and still fucks with me, he's like a brother to me. Cold Heart too, shouts out to Cold Heart, he's a homie. Like I just met him at a skate park and like I was like, yo, bro, I fuck with your music. Like, I do clothing. I made him like some custom Air Force Ones and shit. Like, busted him out in a day because like I fucked with him. Shouts out to Lil Xan and Trippie Redd. I'm gonna fuck with these people like forever. Like, it's really like all the people that I like listen to their music and shit. It's like they're popping into my life like on some random shit. So it's fire. So I just want to like give back to everyone. Like, they're always offering me like people will be offering me money for masks like Xan and shit. I'm like, no, like just take that shit. Like, because that's like all I care about. Like, I'm just trying to show people that like. I was doing absolutely nothing with my life. Like, I literally don't even know who I am and shit, but like I'm doing like all this to figure out who I am, see where I can get to, and just like live my life literally.
So you into fashion at all, or you just got into fashion?
That's what's funny is I was never into fashion. Like, I deadass used to be the kid that wore the same beanie every day, would just grab whatever the fuck. I never matched anything, wore like bright ass dumb shoes and shit, but like I was a skater, so I always had a skater style. Like, I still have that. Like, people look at me and they're like, oh, you look different than people. But it's like, I have like a half skater style, and like I build that into all my shit that like I like make and stuff, because I want my stuff to be different. And I feel like nobody does like some crazy fashion, like skateboarding, music, and I just fucking want all this shit to like merge together. You feel me? Well, I used to shop clearance only. Like, my mom was never like able to buy anything for me, but I would say I fuck with Huff heavy. That's one of my favorite companies ever. Huff, Supreme, Narcotic, Ransom, Cole Bennett stuff heavy. Like, I never wore like anything like this back in the day. Like,
so what's your dream collabs? Like, if you like name three. Name three. You only get three.
Three. So I'm gonna be doing masks forever. So my main thing is I want Gucci to hire me, Louis Vuitton to hire me, or MCM. And I would literally only do masks for that company. And it's like, I feel like I could just make them money. Like, they could be doing this for anything. You can ride a motorcycle, you can ride a bicycle, you can ride a skateboard, or like a snowboard. You can do all this shit with these masks on photos. This is literally in the hip hop community now. Like, I just need one of these companies to hire me, and like I'm gonna take that shit to like with my own clothing. Like, I want to keep doing handmade shit forever, and like eventually one day be doing runway shit. Like, I know I'm gonna get there one day, so like people have no idea. Like, I got plans into like 3 years from now. Like, I have plans that's gonna fuck up the game like next year, like within months, like shit like that. So it's like in like 2 years, I see my like I'm not living in LA. I want to be living in LA. I want to be fucking traveling the world. I want to be in Paris. I want to like see the world in like 30 different countries by 2 years. It's like my dream.
Have you ever traveled outside of the U.S.?
Out of the U.S. Now, farthest I've ever gone was Georgia. I never had money to do anything, so it's like now I finally got like a chance to live my life. This is my first interview ever too, by the way. So
that's so fun.
Shit, crazy.
No, thank you, bro. We appreciate it. You're a legend.
Thank you, bro. That shit is crazy. People be saying like, yo, you're gonna be like the next like a Virgil Blow or some shit. I'm like the only person I feel like in this like fashion like culture, like music culture, that's like really about this shit, like, and is like trying to be like next level with it.
Before we exit, I want to say, is there any advice you would give to upcoming clothing designers, anybody who's trying to get into fashion or something like that?
Okay, I got some. The best advice I could give you is deadass. Be new. Do something new. Don't do what other people do. Like, do something you've never seen before type shit. You gotta network. The biggest thing is networking. Like, I didn't know anybody 6 months ago. You literally just gotta do it. Like, don't let your parents or like anybody, like, you lose your job, take that shit as motivation. Everything is learning, deadass. Like, never seen no jumper, watch those interviews. If you wanna like make music, you wanna do clothing, they have like all sorts of different people that do that shit. And I've literally watched every single one of those. That was why I'm here today. He's like the dad of this like underground culture, which is sick. And like, I feel like I wanna be like underground clothing designer forever, like type shit.
Is there anything you're working on that you can say right now that people should be on the lookout for?
Alright, so I would say I got two things. So I got Very Lonely coming out, sweats, long sleeve, beanies, and camo t-shirt. If you want to see, my Instagram is @ZVCHT. I got all that shit on there. If you want to see the masks I do one-of-ones, like all types of different shit. Like, that's all on my Instagram. Got a no jumper mask collab coming. I'm either gonna do like 60 to 200 of those shits. So like I'm gonna be doing a lot of them. So like I usually do my shit in a run of like 10 to 12, and like I'll do like 60 max. So like this is gonna be like my biggest drop ever. So like you fuck with no jumper, like you fuck with me, get that shit. Everything's handmade by me. That's a shit ton of work. Like I do everything myself too. Everything myself. Nobody helps me do anything.
Damn.
Nothing.
So be patient.
Yeah, patient.
Be patient. Be patient with my man. See out here working.
People be sending me mad messages like, yo, I need your mask. Like, what's your website and shit? I'm like, I took it down. Like, I don't got anything. I'm sorry. Like, it's gonna be back though, I promise. Be you. Do whatever the fuck you gotta do, and just live your life. Literally, like, just be happy. That's what I'm saying. Like, my name is Zvcht Thorton. I'm here with Alienz only. And why am I not famous?
With a bad bitch. Yeah, she be red. I went and copped a bag, bitch. Yeah.